Hey everyone, Shabby Game here and welcome back to another episode of Shabby Talk. Now I thought today we'd talk about the upcoming Summerslam card here this evening, and I must admit they've got a bit of work to do to try and keep up with NXT. That was a great show last night and I think they're going to struggle, but we're going to go through the matches one by one as we normally do and just discuss what I think about them. And I'm going to use the WWE website's order as the suggested match order that I think it might be on as well. So according to this, we've got 3 matches on the SummerSlam kickoff show, and the first one is Akira Tozawa defending his newly won Cruiserweight Championship against Neville. Pretty good match. It's a little bit of a shame it's on the pre-show really, because I'm a big fan of both these guys and I feel like they probably could do a little bit better on the main card, especially when you look at some of the matches on the main card. But there you go, it is what it is, I suppose. The Cruiserweight Championship, once again, not really being treated as we believe it should be treated. It's a championship. It should be on the main card. It really should. So it's a little bit annoying. I'd be surprised if Neville won the belt back, just because the reign of dominance he's had recently. So I do expect Akira Tozawa to keep a hold of the belt here this evening. Next up again on the pre-show, we have got such a random match, isn't it? The Hardy Boyz with Jason Jordan taking on The Miz and The Miztourage. I just don't even know what to say about this one. It's a good way to get people on the show, I suppose, but yeah, the Hardy Boyz were so over when they returned at WrestleMania, and now they're stuck on a pre-show. Jason Jordan, supposed to be getting this big singles push with being Kurt Angle's son, and once again being stuck on the pre-show. It's just a little bit weird. I feel like there should be better for this, and The Miz, been one of the top wrestlers over the last couple of years. Absolutely fantastic heel on SmackDown. Since he's moved to Raw, it seems to have died down a little bit, but still doing really well. And his Miztourage guy is actually having a point on the roster now. So it's a bit of a random one that's been forced together. It's probably just a way to get people on the card, to be honest. But yeah, but it's a kickoff match, and I really don't care who wins, to be honest. But I feel like it'll be the Hardy Boyz with Jason Jordan getting the victory of The Miz, maybe. So next off on the pre-show, once again, we have got the New Day taking on the Usos. Now this is a bit of an unfortunate one because, again, these two teams for the Tag Team Championships blew the roof off the last pay-per-view. It was the only match at the last pay-per-view, I think it was Battleground, wasn't it? The only match that was actually half decent. And now they're forced to redo it on the pre-show again. It's just a little bit random for me. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the New Day might win this one, walk out the champions, but it's just all becoming a little bit boring, just the same two teams over and over and over again. I think we need an injection of life into the roster. And with the Authors of Pain losing last night, I feel like we might actually get the Authors of Pain move on to SmackDown, because their tag team divisions got quite shallow recently. With Simon Gotch leaving, the Vaudevillains splitting, we had of course Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, probably the best tag team they had, splitting up as well. We've got the likes of Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, who I can't stand. They've been a little bit iffy here and there. It looked like they were going to split up at some point as well. So it's a difficult one really, but I just feel like they need a bit more depth in that tag team roster, and the Authors of Pain could be the ones to do that. Right, the first match on the main card on the WWE website, they've got it down as the Demon Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Now I'd be a little bit annoyed if this opens the show, because for me, this is one of the top matches I've been waiting for quite a long time. I feel like it could be a great match of storytelling, quite a dark match as well. I anticipate Bray to do some weird, freaky stuff as he normally does, and this could end up being probably one of the best matches of the night. I think it would really, really be good. I'm a little bit annoyed that it's opening the show, and I hope it doesn't get... Well, the best thing about it opening the show is that it means it's not going to get cut off time, because the show's overrun already, so it means they'll get the full amount of time they were given, which is pretty good. So it might still work out pretty well, but I'm quite looking forward to this one. I feel like both guys do need the victory, though. They both need to push on to that next level. Bray Wyatt, since moving on to Raw, after losing the SmackDown Championship, he's just nosedived again, and it's nothing against him. I think he's still doing the decent enough job. He's just being written really badly. And Raw, there's just too much competition for places on Raw. It really is. And with John Cena rumored to be joining Raw after Summerslam as well, it's just too many people, and I feel like both Balor and Bray Wyatt would do better on SmackDown. But there is heavy rumours that Finn Balor will join SmackDown after SummerSlam as well. Maybe that'd be the trade. Maybe John Cena for Finn Balor, because I think Finn Balor would dominate SmackDown. He really would. So next up we've got the Big Show versus Big Cass. with Enzo Amore suspended above the ring in a shark cage. Yes, this is WWE's way of going, look, 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 we brought a shark cage last year. We're going to use it 3 times in the space of 6 months. It's just random, isn't it? It's really random. There is been a few rumours going around recently that because of the heat that Enzo Amore's got backstage, a lot of people don't like him. And the rumour is that he's terrified of heights. So to get on his nerves, they decided to put him in the shark cage match and frighten the life out of him. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like the sort of thing that WWE would do. This one, I feel like Big Cass is destined to pick up the victory in this one. But there has also been rumours that Enzo Amore could turn heel this evening at Summerslam. Now, I'm assuming the way to do that would be to drop Big Cass something to use to take the Big Show down. And yeah, it's a weird one really. With the feud that's gone on between Big Cass and Enzo, I've heard the rumours that Enzo turning heel and realigning with Big Cass as a heel tag team. Maybe Enzo proves that he's more than just a lackey, more than just a big mouth, and he can get the job done. And it could work pretty well if they do it that way, because I feel like these two guys, without each other, there's not really a lot for them. So I feel like together, maybe as a heel tag team, but the thing is, as a heel tag team, they're still going to get over because of Enzo's mic work. So it's tricky to tell, isn't it, really? But I would be very surprised if Big Cass does not win this one. For me, this is the one match of the whole evening that I'm convinced I know the victor. So next up is Randy Orton versus Rusev from SmackDown. I feel so sorry for Rusev having to work with one of the laziest wrestlers in the entire company, and I really hope that Rusev picks up the victory. Rusev needs to be pushed up to the next level. He needs to be pushed up to the championship level, I believe, on SmackDown, and I think he'll do that pretty soon. But he's got Randy Orton in his way. Randy, fresh off a victory against the champion Jinder Mahal in a non-title match, which for me would give you a title match in the future, which I'm really hoping does not happen. Because for me, Randy Orton has ruined Jinder Mahal's championship run for me. I wish he was never involved in it, because Jinder, I think, could have got a lot better matches against some bigger names, and we're going to get a chance to see that later on in the SummerSlam card. But again, I hope that Rusev wins. It could end up being quite a lazy performance by Randy Orton as normal, but it's SummerSlam. Hopefully he'll pull something out of the bag. So next up, we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Naomi defending against Natalya. This one, again, a weird one. Natalya never really been too involved in the championship picture on SmackDown, but finally getting an opportunity. I really hope she wins. For me, Natalya is probably one of the most underrated female wrestlers that WWE have got. She deserves a run, and for me, Naomi is so boring. My God, I know they wanted to have a black female champion, because I don't think they've had one in the past, have they? Oh no, didn't Alicia Fox win the belt for a while? I can't remember now, but Naomi for me is just so boring. I don't think she's much good in the ring, to be honest with you. She's better than what she used to be, don't get me wrong, but she's just not of the quality that I would class a champion. For me, Natalya is absolutely fantastic, and I assumed that we would see Alexa Bliss. Not Alexa Bliss. I'd assume we would see Asuka on the main roster, but she defended her championship successfully last night at NXT, so it's a strange one. But the way the match ended with Ember Moon getting an applause from the crowd, staying out there, it almost looked a little bit like a goodbye. She was crying as well, and it makes you wonder whether Ember Moon might step up to the main roster and Asuka might stay where she is. But I don't know, it just seems to me like one more match between Ember Moon and Asuka at the next TakeOver, and that'll be the one, because Ember's got closer and closer and closer every single match. So I don't know, I'm assuming that one of those two ladies will join the main roster at some point. With Eve Marie leaving SmackDown, they've got a pretty small women's division as it is. Maybe one of those women could be moving up to SmackDown roster to help bolster it out. But if you watched NXT last night, you would have seen a point where Daniel Bryan was sat with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay having a chat. So maybe we could see those two join in SmackDown soon. But they need some more depth in there, they really do. And I really hope that Natalya wins. I'm not a fan of Naomi at all. So after that, we've got the Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. Now, it annoys me that it's just been done over and over and over and over again. It seems like nobody on Raw gets an opportunity apart from Sasha, Alexa, Nia, or Bayley. Them four ladies are the entire women's division. Everyone else does not even get a look in. Emma, Dana Brooke, who else is up there? There's a couple in there, isn't there? But they're not even getting a look in now, and it's frustrating. If they don't think they're good enough, then that's fair enough. But I think Emma and Dana are both good enough. I think Dana, they had a chance to make Dana a massive face when she split from Charlotte last year, and they never took advantage of it, and I'm really annoyed by that. And Emma as well. Emma gets over, she really does, and she's a quality wrestler as well. And I just feel like Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks has just been done into the ground now. I hope Alexa walks out with the belt again, because I'm a massive Alexa Bliss fan. I think she's probably the best female that WWE have, all-rounder. She's great in the ring, but she's even better on the mic, so I think she's really, really good. And I hope that she just walk out with the belt, and I think she will as well. Next up then, the Raw Tag Team Championships, Cesaro and Sheamus against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. It's an interesting one. It's an all-star tag team match. It's not very often we get three former world champions and Cesaro in a match together. So in a tag team match together, it's a really good match actually, and I feel like Cesaro and Sheamus will win. I think that Dean and Seth might end up a little bit of argy-bargy between the two. Maybe a Dean Ambrose heel turn. Maybe Seth Rollins turns on Dean once again. I don't know. It's tricky, but I think Dean should go heel this time. I think Dean Ambrose's character has become incredibly stale over the last 12 months, and he needs something to spark him into life, and this match here could be the one that does it for him, really. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Cesaro and Sheamus lose the belts to Ambrose and Seth tonight. Next up, the United States Championship match, AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. Now, the idea of having Shane in this match has sort of led more rumours, because it's always been rumoured that Shane's next opponent would be Kevin Owens. So maybe Shane does something here this season that costs Owens the match, or maybe Owens puts his hands on Shane during the match. I don't know, it's going to be a tricky one, but I'm pretty sure AJ is going to walk out of here with the United States Championship, and I'm pretty sure it's going to end up with Kevin Owens and Shane going at it at some point in the future, and probably around... Well, there's been rumours it could be Hell in a Cell, but I think they should save it maybe to Survivor Series. But then again, Survivor Series is a little bit of a different one, because that's more Raw versus SmackDown, I suppose, as well. So it's a tricky one, but yeah, I'll be amazed if AJ does not walk out of here the United States Champion. Next up is John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Now this one is a bit out there, isn't it? What do we do here? How does this work? Baron Corbin fresh off of cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase and losing, and John Cena just is John Cena. This match could elevate Baron Corbin back into the main event picture, or this match could bury Baron Corbin back into the mid-card picture. It's such a massive, massive match for Baron Corbin, and I don't know what WWE have got planned for this one. I really don't. John Cena, heavily rumoured, like I said, to be joining Raw after SummerSlam, and it's not really going to affect him too much, the win over Baron Corbin, but they're not going to want John Cena to join Raw fresh off of a loss at the same time, so it's a real tricky one. And I really can't tell you this one. I feel like Cena's going to win it, but I really hope he doesn't, because like I said, it's massive for Baron Corbin. It's make or break for Baron Corbin. There's rumours that WWE are going to try and get Baron Corbin his briefcase back, because the video that WWE uploaded onto YouTube of Baron Corbin's failed cash-in has become the most disliked video on the WWE page. It's massive, and it's really, really weird the way that's worked, but it's obviously showing that the fans are really against what has happened. And there's rumours they're going to try and get the briefcase back for certain things, like John Cena distracting Baron Corbin, or the referee not ringing the bell in time, allowing Jinder Mahal to recover and stuff like that, or Baron Corbin's leg being under the rope when the pin was done. It's a real weird one, but yeah, I feel like Baron Corbin desperately needs the victory here this evening. Maybe even if the victory is via cheating, if it's not a clean victory, I don't think it matters too much. I think it would still be a good one for Baron Corbin to pick up the win in. So next up is Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, how is this going to work? I really feel like Jinder Mahal's got his best opportunity here to put on a really good match. He's worked with the lazy Randy Orton over the last few months. It's not really worked out too well. He's really got over as a cracking heel, don't get me wrong, but it's just not worked too well for him. So I feel like now he's got the opportunity to face off against one of the world's best wrestlers in Shinsuke Nakamura. He should be able to put on a better match. However, do their styles match very well? That's the problem. I don't know if they do. It's going to be interesting with the Sings probably at ringside as well, distracting Nakamura. It could be a very, very good match. I really hope it is a very, very good match. But at the same time, it could end up becoming a bit of a stale one, because both guys don't really match up too well. But yeah, it's really weird. I'm going to assume that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win the belt here, with Jinder Mahal losing clean to Randy Orton on Raw, on SmackDown, sorry. a couple of weeks back. It looks like they've given up on Mahal's run. Nakamura winning the belt. I think he's probably one of the biggest merchandise sellers they've got on SmackDown now. So it's about time, if Cena leaves, to push Nakamura into the championship picture and just basically milk that merchandise for as much as it's possibly worth. And I think the Jinder, I don't think Jinder's going to do too bad now. I don't think he's ever going to go back to being a jobber, but I think he's still going to end up becoming maybe upper mid card, maybe not getting the main event picture again. But I don't know. I hope he does. I think he's been a really good heel, Jinder Mahal. He's really got absolutely massive heat from the crowd. He's done exactly what WWE wanted him to do, but I feel like tonight could be the end of his reign. And of course, the last match in the show, the fatal four-way match: Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. Now, I don't know if this is classed as spoilers or not, or whatever, but there's a few things about this match that have been said that really annoyed me, and it could be spoilers or it could not be. I don't honestly know, but we know that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman have said that if Lesnar does not walk out of SummerSlam with the championship, he will leave WWE. However, Brock Lesnar has already been announced to appear on Raw after SummerSlam, and he's already been announced for the next pay-per-view, which is stupid in my opinion. Why would you do that? Why would you say that and then announce the guy for the next two shows? It sort of makes you think, well, Lesnar's going to win this one. And there are heavy rumours that Lesnar will win this one and then go on to face off against Strowman one-on-one at the next pay-per-view. But I still think this possibly will be the best match of the night, just because the four guys involved, there's going to be, well, of course, fatal four-way as well means no disqualifications, no count-outs. I can see Roman Reigns is going to spear someone through the barricade. Lesnar's going to German suplex loads of people. Joe's probably going to lock Lesnar into the Coquina clutch. Strowman's going to do something incredibly stupid with his strength. It's going to be a really good match. I know it is. I think this probably will be the best match of the night. But at the same time, I just feel like Lesnar's going to walk out with the championship. I don't think... I really wish somebody else would, but I just feel like it's going to be Lesnar. And then, like we said, Lesnar versus Strowman at the next pay-per-view is heavily rumoured as well. But again, we don't know. Apparently, Vince has kept the match finish very close to his chest, and maybe these announcements were to throw everyone off the scent. Maybe WWE have done this on purpose to try and confuse people and get people assuming that certain things are going to happen, where really they're going to swerve us. It's possible that they've been clever enough to do that. It is possible, although it is also possible they've been incredibly stupid. A bit like a few years ago when they started announcing Batista for episodes of Raw and SmackDown in February before he actually debuted at the Royal Rumble. And like, what are you doing? How can you be that insanely stupid? But evidently, this time they could be using that to their advantage. They could be trying to trick us all. It could be Joe walking out with a belt and Joe versus Reigns at the next pay-per-view, or Joe versus Lesnar at the next pay-per-view. And it could be Lesnar just turning up on Raw to say he demands a rematch. It could be really anything at the moment, but I just have this horrible feeling that Lesnar is going to walk out with the championship. The rumour was at WrestleMania that Lesnar would hold the belt the whole year, and then Reigns would win the Rumble and take him on at WrestleMania again, which I really, God to hell, hope does not happen, because that would just get so many boos, because I don't think people are that interested in Lesnar anymore, to be honest. And people don't like Roman Reigns. And it's simple as, if you do Lesnar versus Reigns and push Reigns as the face again for WrestleMania, it is going to fail horrifically, but there you go. So that's what I think is going to happen at SummerSlam here this evening. Of course, let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or you think something else is going to happen. And of course, I will be up. I'm not going to be watching SummerSlam live because I've got work in the morning, but I'll be able to reply to all your comments as much as I possibly can anyway. If you have enjoyed this quick video, then please do hit the like button and of course subscribe if you want to see some more. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. One, two,